You're at the office coffee machine, minding your business, when a colleague asks the dreaded question, "So, what do you do for fun?" In a fraction of a second, your brain completely empties. You run through your week, commuting, answering emails, scrolling on your phone, and realize you can't name a single actual hobby. A cold panic sets in as you wonder if you are a boring person. Think back to when you were 7 years old. Developing a distinct identity took zero effort. Your entire personality was essentially 3 things. You loved Harry Potter, memorized facts about frogs, and were good at Connect 4. An adult could talk to you for 40 seconds and realize you were the Harry Potter frog kid. You didn't need to be worldly. Mastering a few hyper-specific niches was sufficient to make you a memorable person. As adults, we try to fix our lack of identity by adopting mainstream advice, taking a pottery class, reading more books, or going on expensive vacations. We're told to just be yourself, but that usually only works for extroverts who utilize social wizardry to stay interesting. For everyone else, being yourself feels like a dead end when you can't think of a single thing to say. So you try the hobbies. You collect scattered interests to fill out a conversational resume. But accumulating these casual activities often feels like a list of errands rather than a cohesive identity. By attempting to become perfectly well-rounded, you end up smoothing out the specific edges that make a person stand out. You become broad, balanced, and completely forgettable. This problem of boringness is something Ivy League admissions officers are actually paid to solve. Their job is to sift through thousands of high-achieving applicants to find the few with truly interesting personalities. In this high-stakes environment, being well-rounded is actually a disadvantage. Admissions officers frequently pass over students who are moderately good at everything in favor of something else. They call it the spike. A spike represents a singular, highly specific interest where an individual's knowledge objectively surpasses 99% of the general population. To see how this works, consider a topic that sounds completely mundane, like cleaning. If you spend 1 month in an intense deep dive, reading the history of sanitation and studying cleaning methods, and learning why certain tools work better than others, you quickly move past the average person's understanding. You learn the truth about how robot vacuums actually navigate, or you master the world's fastest clothes folding technique. You've built a spike in a niche most people never think about. This expertise serves as a foot in the door. In a social setting, you aren't just another person making small talk. You are the person who knows things other people don't. When someone says they're bored, you don't just nod. You offer to bring a pressure washer over and show them how to shoot the gunk off their driveway. You've turned a boring interaction into a specific, memorable hook. The goal isn't to talk about cleaning forever. It's to use that specific expertise to make people want to listen to you, opening the door for a normal, engaging conversation. There is a caveat. A spike is only effective if you can translate your knowledge for someone who doesn't share your obsession. Take Minecraft. It's a massive cultural phenomenon, yet many people have no idea it's even possible to beat the game. If you start a conversation by bragging about beating the game without touching the ground, you'll lose your audience. To them, that sentence is just meaningless jargon. The method that works is explaining what the hobby is, why you got into it, and then breaking down the specific feat in terms anyone can understand. When you remove the barrier of technical jargon, the focus shifts from your own ego to the actual story. It changes the dynamic from a lecture to a moment of shared curiosity. You can see this principle in how we learn about science. Volcanoes are a naturally fascinating subject. However, if an expert with a PhD explains them using only complex geological terminology, the average person will tune out because the language feels like a wall. Contrast that with Bill Nye. He takes the same complex science and translates it into relatable entertainment. He makes the topic accessible, which is why people find him so engaging. Being interesting doesn't require expensive vacations, a list of generic hobbies, or forced extroversion. It only requires the willingness to master one specific interest and the enthusiasm to share it the same way you did when you were a kid.